Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a Chosen's Corner episode with Darth microtransaction. This will be a little bit of a shorter one. Darth didn't have a whole lot of time, but I wanted to bring him on for a little bit to get his perspective because he's become a pretty endgame player who spent a lot of money on EXOS heroes. I wanted to see if doing that changed his perspective at all on Raid, and also get his thoughts on being someone who dove in really deep to EXOS and how good of a game he thinks it is, and if it has staying power and all that, because Darth has a lot of experience in this genre of mobile gaming. So let's get into it. Alrighty, and now I am joined by the man himself, Mr. Darth Microtransaction. What's up, brother?
Hello, man. I'm not a lot is up. I am currently doing a video with you. What are you doing?
Yeah, good point. Good point. No, yeah, everything's good on my end. It's my birthday today, so who else to bring on than my good friend and one of the first people I met in Raid. Well, thank you.
Yep. You were the first person I met in Raid.
Yeah. I think we had both only been playing like 2 weeks or something when we met.
Yeah, you've been going a little bit and had a little bit of subscribers already, and then
and you were switching over from Swogo or something.
That's correct. Yeah,
yep.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and you were basically the dominating force on the YouTube market at the time.
Well, I wanted to bring you on, you know, A, because it's been a while since we've done a video, so we're kind of due, and B, because you have a pretty good perspective on a lot of different games in the market, at least more than I do, in terms of Swogo and EXOS, and you've kind of dabbled in Dragon Champions a little bit more than I did. And I know you
experimented in college, absolutely. Yeah.
So I know you dove into EXOS and really kind of had a good first impression on it. So I wanted to see if you still kind of felt the same after wailing out and getting ranked high. You were number 1 at one point on PvP, weren't you?
Yeah, I've been number 1 in PvP and PvE, and it's something that you can like. It's like Platinum Arena. You can get it hard to maintain. You know, you have to do battles constantly, and your team has to be significantly better because you get points on defense, and you get way more points for winning on defense because offense has, you know, the advantage just like in every game, really. And you get 40 points for a win on defense, but you get 6 loss. So because of that, if you can climb to the top and be significantly better than the other people, you can stay. But like I'm not high enough to stay. I climbed 1, and I then played till the end of the week, and I fell to like rank 200 or something.
Ah, okay. So you got there, but couldn't quite maintain it.
Yeah, I would have to play throughout the week if I wanted to really keep it. I don't think that I would. Let me put it this way: I was able to beat every single team in the world. Like I couldn't find a team that I could not beat on offense, and it's not because I'm good. It's just because offense is easier. So,
okay.
But that's only because of the way the gear and stuff is, which has changed. They actually just released. So after this, and I go to the store and then come back, and I got to record an EXOS Heroes video about the newest character that just got released to counter, that's countering the current PvP meta. So it's all going to change.
Oh, so kind of like a Torment designed to counter the meta?
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I was saying to people in my Welling video about how like these characters are really good, but keep in mind they never go back and nerf this stuff in these games. They make new characters instead to counter it, so save your stuff. And then right when I said that, I pulled all my stuff, and then 3 hours later they came out with new characters. So I was like, well, see, this is why you...
Yeah, you know the drill by now.
I do, but I don't listen to myself. Yeah.
Well,
then... I say it as I do.
That's us all. Well, then... I know your first impression, just kind of seeing random messages from you on servers and kind of talking with you, you know, randomly, your opinion of EXOS was pretty positive. So how do you feel like right now about EXOS?
I would say my impression has stayed relatively the same. I was very honest about being in the honeymoon phase when I was saying that. There is a very strong honeymoon phase in the game, especially because in the beginning they let you like re-roll for free. It'd be like, imagine if they give you 1 sacred shard in the beginning of Raid, but they let you re-roll that sacred shard as many times as you want.
Yep.
So they basically do that, which makes it where you can start with whatever best hero you really want to start with. And not only that, but because it's a re-roll, you can get like multiple characters. So it's really a tempo is really what it is. And for that reason, it's got a strong honeymoon phase, and then they do a lot of things to kind of give you a whole bunch of stuff in the beginning. What they do really well is making it efficient and easy in the beginning, and then after a couple $1,000s, it's like really difficult. So what I would say is that if you're someone who's like a major crack in like $20,000 6-digit cracking in other games, and you're going into EXOS Heroes, you're going to notice like the first $1,000 is just mind blowing. Like the value is just mind blowing. Okay, so I mean, even more so than like in Raid when the value is more mind blowing. It's even more so because you're not gambling to get the character. A lot of times you can just pick them, and or you can pull in certain banners, which as you pull it, the chance is higher and higher and higher. So there's a lot of things that are in the game that are just really, really well designed. Duplicates have built-in things. I guess to answer the question, really what it comes down to is the in-game still has the same issues that every game does, where it's like you get into the game and you're going to repeat yourself every time you log into the game. Okay.
Yep.
However, this game does do a really good job of when you do log into the game and you'll do your sim battles, because they have quick battles. If you're strong enough, you don't actually have to do them. It'd just be like if you could sim all your dailies for a raid, right? You can just, I'm strong enough, I can just. Okay, so my point that we had to cut there for a second because my brain did the fart that it does sometimes. And that's why I have to re-record my video 3 or 4 times because I'll go to a long, elongated point. Then I'll be like, what was I talking about again? I'll have to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, you and me both.
But basically, the point I was trying to make is when you log into the game, while you do have the same repetitive things that every game have, there's a lot of things, without going into a massive, rabbit trail list of things to do in the game that are non-repetitive and are procedural or random. For instance, just the main home screen is just like you can just run around, and as you run around, you can like find and pick up stuff or explore or talk to people and get random rewards, stuff like that. I think kind of like 7DS's Tavern, only I actually like it better because you can also AFK. So it's like if you want to leave, you can either have it running the game and click explore and it'll just run around and explore everything, or click explore out of game and it'll explore everything out of game. There's a lot of things like that they do. PvP, here's another example, and then there's the last rabbit trail, I promise. In PvP, every other week is a different thing. So like the first week, it's 1v1, then it's 3v3, then it's 1v1. It's alternating 3v3. So you do tag team, then you do standard, then you do tag team, then you do standard. That way it's the same queue. You have to prepare for both, but every other week, free-to-play people get kind of a chance to compete against the top, and then you obviously need to be a whale to have all 15 in the beginning, okay? That's great. The gear has additional RNG on it, but it can be re-rolled. Like all of the gear can be re-rolled. So if you get defensive gear, but you want it to have crit damage on it, you can re-roll that. You can be re-roll stuff that even it normally won't have. Like imagine if you could re-roll like a chest plate to crit damage in raid or something, right?
Yeah.
Like there's stuff like that you can do. Like a defensive piece can be rolled the other way. They also have secondary sets where there's like fire, nature, frost, machine, all these different pieces, right? Gems pieces, and there's a breaking system. So every piece you break doesn't affect, but every set of each piece you have also gives you an effect. So you can have like a nature set and a machine set, or just a 6-piece of machine set that also gives you bonus health on top of it, because when you have a full piece, it gives you a big bonus. It has all this crazy stuff, skins that actually do stuff, and changes skills. Like the same character you already built and put all your resources in will change its skill to and have additional skill just by adding a different skin on it. Like there's one character that becomes a tank character or like an assassin character, but it's the same character. All you gotta do is just swap the skin on, and you don't have to put more resources. There's a lot of really cool stuff that I do still like. Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, yeah, I've seen games doing that. I think 7DS had that, where you have different skins that change what a character is and all that.
Yeah.
I guess my perspective when I played the game was I felt like I don't have anywhere near the expertise you do in the game. It felt like another 7DS to me. It felt like a game that was gonna strike hot for 2 or 3 months, and then 7DS has kind of fizzled out. Like everybody told me.
Has it though?
I mean, from what I saw when I was looking at like the analytics of like the growth, that video I did where I had the chart, it looked like 7DS was really slowing down already.
That may be true. But all I know is when I see content on it, it's doing well. Like YouTube does well. Twitch seems to have a lot of viewers. I don't know. I think Raid's the biggest one, so it's hard to compare because it's like we have the one that they put all of their money into marketing. So we're starting to like the highest bar. I mean, there's not really any other game I think that like off another gacha game. Summoner's War, I guess, right? Wouldn't that be like the largest one technically? But that's more of an Eastern Seaboard type thing.
Yeah, I think Summoner's War is the biggest one, but that's been out for like 6 years.
Right, yeah.
And then, you know, your other, like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, but that has the Star Wars Galaxy, you know, name behind it. The Star Wars IP. It'd be like Diablo
Right.
Immortal, having that like
Right.
ridiculous IP.
You know that game was actually EA's largest moneymaker, like Star Wars Galaxy.
I'm sure it was. Yeah, the
Bad trap.
mobile gacha market has really kind of blown up in the last 2 years or so.
Other than FIFA, I think FIFA's #1 actually, and I think it's Star Wars Galaxy.
I guess the point I was trying to get to is I questioned the staying power of a game like Exos just from my first impression of it, and I wanted to kind of ask you if your perspective of Raid, how much it changed and why it changed, and like diving into another game and getting a different perspective,
Sure.
if that kind of affected your mindset when it comes to Raid at all.
Okay, so there's two things here to dig in. There's like personal and business, okay, and like they are very separate. Like personally wise, I would not have been playing Raid this long. Like you know this already. I mean I have ceased to have fun with the game for about 6 months now. I mean the game is just not fun for me. Mostly because like I do pack openings. I like the shiny. I mean that's just what I do, right? Everyone likes dopamine, and that's kind of what my thing is. And that diminishes over time. And to be honest, they do a really bad job in Raid of convincing you that you're not wasting your money. I mean, you are deep down, but the problem is after a certain point, they don't even pretend that you're not wasting your money anymore. So where I start to have the issue is in games like Raid, where as it goes on, it gets worse, is what it is. Because like Raid for me is getting worse, not better. And I know it's weird to say that because it's like you're getting quality of life changes and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but we're also diluting the pool and increasing power creep, and monetization still increasing, and we're getting no real content. And other games are coming out that have more content on release than Raid. The game is getting better just by aging, or getting worse just by aging, in comparison to other games. Now, does Exos have the staying power like Raid? No, it just doesn't. And the reason it doesn't have the staying power like Raid is because of the characters. Everyone stays on Raid because of how well designed the characters are. I'm talking through and through. Art is good. A lot of the characters have really cool kits. I think even though they repeat kits, they do a good job of making you like the characters. And no matter what gacha it is, they are collectors. And whatever game you're playing, you have to either identify with or really like certain characters, because if you do not have that, you won't stay with the game. I mean, that's why graphics is such a big deal for people. And the anime one is such a hard take. It's a hard sell because you either an anime person or you're not. There is no like,
Yeah.
I'll around with some weebs. And, I only do it really. I mean, I'm enjoying the game, but, really, I'm in gashas for the business of it. And the personal side of me would be, yeah, I'd probably still be playing Exos. I'd probably play it free to play because it's enjoyable game. And I rushed to the end of it already, whereas the free-to-play experience is actually pretty fun. Like, I think collecting the heroes in Exos is a fun, enjoyable process, but I've burned to the end of that candle quicker in Exos than I would in Raid, just because of how well Raid dilutes and milks the wells. The thing about Raid is they do such a good job of keeping you into the game for so long, even while the game's getting worse. Like, they do a good job of keeping you there, and then they fail at the end to convince you, that you've invested your money or done anything with it, really. And so I think these other games, while they do fundamentally have the same problem that every gacha is ever going to have, which is you can't pump out content for people quick enough to do it, it really comes down to whether or not people are going to like the characters. I mean, you're either going to like the characters in Exos or you're not. I think Seven Deadly Sins has the anime behind it, so it has a little bit more staying power. People really, a lot of people are fans of the anime, and the characters are pretty well done in that game. Whereas Exos Heroes, there's not really any lore behind these characters. In Raid, there's no lore behind them, but like they're generally appealing. Whereas most people look at the characters, even if you're not a weeb person, you like people with big armor, or you have the chicks with big boobs, you got the big muscle dudes, whatever it is you like, right? Like you have that in Raid. And I think that's where Exos probably misses it, because they only really have, the characters are cool, but only for some people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, games like Diablo and Raid with that graphic style are gonna appeal to a much more generalized fan base than anime. It's gonna be, like, I feel like the people who like the anime are gonna be more diehard, but it's gonna appeal to a less consistent amount of people.
Yeah, I would say that's fairly accurate. But if you look at most of the gacha gamers, they tend to stay like the anime stuff or not. You know, Mango 7's an example of one of those. Like it's you tend to be either anime or like Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, like the Gemro style. You don't really see the guys doing both. You
Yeah.
know, it's like Gemro style or one or the other. I'm not an anime guy, but I'm eating up the free subs at the moment because it's a new game, and then I'm just enjoying something, a break from Rave when there's basically nothing going on. I mean, we've had a break from Rave for the last year. Swinging dragons. So.
Yeah, well, I do know you told me before we started that you had a lot going on and you needed to get going soon, so you were kind of rushed. So I'll let you go. It's been about 15 minutes, but I really appreciate you stopping by. I had a lot of fun, and we'll definitely do this again soon, man.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully you got what you wanted out of this and it wasn't just talking over your video.
Oh, you're good, man. It was fun.
All right, man. I love you. Subscribe to Brad because he's a good guy and he's out here working. And the man is too modest to sell out. You see my videos? I'm not too modest. The first 2 minutes is me begging for subs. Then we get into content and there's a minute of black screen at the end. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But this guy here, he's too nice to ask. So give him a sub.
That's all. Well, thank you for the kind words. But yeah, take it easy, man. Have a good night.
All right.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for this episode of Chosen's Corner, and a huge shout out to Darth Microtransaction, and I really appreciate him taking the time to sit down with me and have this chat, and I will link to his video down in the pinned comment if you want to check out Darth. He makes really good content, so definitely shoot on over there and check out his channel. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.